Hello and welcome to the webinar, everyone. This is Ben Johnston. I'm Vice President of Marketing here at Korbyt, and I'm joined today with Ankur Ahluwalia, our CEO, and George Klopp, our CTO. Hope everyone's having a great day. A couple of housekeeping items before we get into the webinar itself. We will have a Q&A and discussion at the end. We've got about 25 minutes of presentation. Feel free to submit your questions at any time, and I'll try to get to those during the presentation and queue those up for George and Ankur at the end. And before I hand it over to Ankur for his CEO introduction, I want to take us through a quick agenda. So Ankur will give a little bit of a Korbyt company introduction, his introduction, and then I'm going to hand it over to George to talk about solving problems for communicators with our platform Korbyt. We're going to talk about some of the best practices and strategies for increasing engagement with remote workers, which we know is so critical today, post-COVID. George is going to talk about the platform roadmap for those of you that are existing customers, or if you're taking a look at Korbyt and considering a move to our platform. And then we'll talk about some of the enhancements and tips and tricks for content creation and allowing you to create content quicker, faster to get that out to your audience. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ankur Ahluwalia, our CEO, who joined us just a couple of months ago. Ankur, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Ben. Truly honored to be part of Korbyt, formerly known as RMG. As you can see on the slide, we have a 40-year history of delivering highly innovative visual communication solutions with a terrific set of customers. Some of them are on today, so we are very grateful for your business, and we look forward to working and partnering with you some more in the coming years. Over the last 2 years, this company has evolved now to a digital signage software company where we have hundreds of our customers moving from our old technology to our new award-winning Korbyt platform, where we are able to demonstrate through innovation how we are shaping the employee and customer engagement through omni-channel. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that in the next slide. But we're noticing a trend in the market. We're seeing our customers are very focused on delivering the right experience for both their employees and their customers. And the goal and objective, obviously, is to drive the right behavior outcomes, which those could be in form of productivity, it could be revenue growth, it could be retention, safety measures, so on and so on. But where we see in the market is the outcome and the experience really don't tie together unless there's engagement. And that is where we come in. Korbyt platform is a platform by which you can engage both your customers and employees through an omni-channel delivery method, whether it's digital signage, which has been a traditional method, and then we have now solutions in desktop and mobile. All of them help us to engage and drive the right outcomes and delivering the experience that our customer wants. We have had now numerous customers who are using our omni-channel delivery and experiencing those outcomes. But as we start to move towards the next evolution of our company, we see AI playing a very big role in how our customers will engage not only their employees, but their customers to drive engagement. Today, George will share some aspects of the AI technology. We think we are one of the few in the market, if not the only in the market, that is shaping the engagement space through AI. But we are happy to share in subsequent amount of time how we will be utilizing AI and these omni-channel delivery methods to drive the right outcomes. All right, I'll hand it off to Ben. He's going to cover an engage and maturity scale that we would like to share with you guys.
Great, thanks, Ankur. Yeah, so briefly, when we talk to a lot of you that are on today, talk to our customers, we talk to professional communicators, marketers, HR professionals who are charged with engaging their customers, whether they're internal or external. Really, there's kind of this continuum or this maturity scale where you're seeking higher audience engagement to get those better business outcomes. And it really starts with that essential engagement, which is your manual messaging. It can still be multi-channel, still can be across digital signage, across mobile, desktop, But you see limited data integrations. It sometimes takes some heavy lifting on the part of the communicator. As you mature and begin to use more technology, you move towards what we call continuous engagement. So this is faster message velocity. It's thinking about your messaging platform as a data integration hub. So pulling data from different enterprise applications to create really data-driven messaging, and incorporating those feedback mechanisms to measure which channel, which message is resonating more with your audience, and using things like gamification to identify your internal promoters to amplify the message and pull additional employees, pull customers into the conversation instead of pushing. And then finally, as Ankur was just talking about, it's moved towards predictive engagement, where you've got AI-assisted content decisioning, almost instant message velocity. You're thinking of your communication platform as really your engagement system of record, and using computer machine learning to help you be a better communicator, to help you find those messages that create the highest engagement and ultimately save you time and get you to a more productive, more profitable engagement scenario. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to George Klopp, our CTO, and George is going to take us through some of the tips and tricks that are inside of Korbyt to achieve those great business outcomes. So George, I will now just flip you the presenter wand here.
All right. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone here is having a wonderful week. So I'm going to first focus on solving problems for communicators with AI. Real quick, I'm just going to take you through a couple of key features we've added in the last 6 months. That's Advisor, Insights, Engagement. We'll touch on some other topics too. There's a lot to show here, so hopefully you guys have a lot of questions at the end. And with that, I'm going to get out of PowerPoint. You guys have probably had enough PowerPoint, and let's get right into the software. So you'll find Advisor and Insights here on your left-hand menu, right? We've got our signage, In-View, Korbyt Go. If we go down under a really meaty area called Analytics, you'll find the Korbyt Advisor. And the Korbyt Advisor is here to help you guys communicate better with your employees, to improve those engagement scores, to obviously achieve the business outcomes you really want to achieve and why you bought Korbyt in the first place. So one of the first things you'll notice here, greeting to George, and then my overall communicator score. So I'm doing pretty good. I've got an 81% communicator score. And then what Advisor tries to do with the rest of the panels that you see here is these are all quick hit items that you guys can use to help improve that engagement score. So the first one here in the top left is trending topics. That's where we're using machine learning. We're using clustering analysis to find out what is really going on out there and what's moving employees. And this changes over time, right? So what employees were really concerned about and what topics they had interested in December of 2019, a lot different than what they were interested in March of 2020. And it's still a lot different than what they're interested today as we hit October 1st, 2020. So we're constantly working in the background here, finding these topics. And then when you click the button here, it's going to go ahead and pull in some content, give you a layout that's ready to go around the leadership idea, around the mission idea, around personal development. Likewise, popular new content. That's just going to be a really quick hit way around those same type of topics for you to see some artwork that you can easily create a layout or a message with. The next item here is our fresh E3 feed. And if you guys remember from one of our last webinars, the E3 feed, that's that employee engagement feed. That is, again, going back to our AI, that's using machine learning to find out what topics are of interest, and then let's find out the best content within that that's interested in open source. And I'll show you guys that E3 feed feature here in a second. And then down below, if you want to do surveys, you want to do quizzes, if you want to add some marketplace items or some launchpad items, these are all just really quick wins for you as a communicator to take advantage of the platform, easily create the content, and get it published out to your audiences. So what makes up this overall communicator score? If we go to Insights, we can take a look at that a little bit deeper. So again, a big push that we have for Korbyt and how we're so different than the competition is we know that you guys really need an effective way to measure your communication, right? It's not just about, hey, I got to make sure the screen isn't dark. It's a lot more mature these days, right? We got to really know that, hey, I'm sending more than just a happy birthday message to the break room. I'm really getting out relevant, individualized, personalized communications to my employees through digital signage and through other channels. So if I go down here, let's go down and look at our communicator score real quick. So if you guys remember that 81% that we saw on the advisor page, here's where I can really see what breaks down that score. It's kind of a combination of two factors. It's content diversity, it's more about frequency as well as how often I'm sending across posts, images, videos, layouts, quizzes, surveys. I really need to use a combination of all these content types to get my employees engaged. And then if I look at content comparison, I can see, okay, I'm not really sending out posts, I'm not sending out quizzes, I'm not doing the videos that I need to do. And that's how I get my score up. It's really easy to see visually. If I want to set a goal to get my score up from 81% to 85%, I know I really need to focus on quizzes, I need to focus on some posts, probably do a little more videos too. And then if I scroll up, and everyone throughout my entire career, every job I've had, everyone's really interested in how they're doing compared to other people. So here we've got a baseline in white of the average communicator score using Korbyt. And then up in this turquoise color is you see your communicator score. And you'll notice, you'll see some patterns here for those of you who are really interested in statistics, where on the weekends it kind of goes down and then it goes back up. But overall, this particular tenant, right, this is our sales tenant called Voyager. It's doing pretty well. It's staying above the average, but it's still got room to improve. And then again, there's another visualization right here where we can dig into, okay, what are the content types where I'm doing well or where I'm not doing as well as my peers. So the white dots represent how my peers are doing. This blue bar represents how I'm doing. And the Korbyt average kind of gives us right there that it's 24. So in this case, I've got layouts. I've done 40 layouts. The Korbyt average is 24. So I'm shooting way, way, way above average. Again, on videos, not adding as many videos as I need to keep those employees engaged. If I would add more videos, I'm going to raise my score. Images doing pretty well. Playlists doing pretty well. Messages, a little bit less than I would like for optimal, but I'm actually doing good compared to the average. And again, what's really hurting my score here is I'm not doing any quizzes at all. So all of this gives you insight into what we call the communicator score. The other score that's really, really important is the employee engagement score. You'll find that under the engagement area here on the left-hand side, so it's right above analytics. It's so important it warrants its own menu item here in the system. So, we had an 81% communicator score. Well, that 81% communicator score is really only leading to about a 39% engagement score. So the engagement score is measured by how your employees are actually engaging. So it's not how you're communicating, but how they're receiving that communication and how they're engaging back with your brand. And you can see the constituents of this score broken out right over here on the right-hand side, right? How many of your employees are liking your posts? How many people are commenting? Are your employees doing user posts? Are they sharing content, right? So you can see I got a pretty low score, 39%. I've got 0% user posts, 0% content shares. I know exactly what I got to do to get that score up a little bit higher. Full screen view, so whether I'm on the desktop or mobile device, it looks like my employees are actually opening up the items they see in their news feed and they're viewing it full screen. They're submitting some quizzes, submitting some surveys, but no web form submissions. Then as we drill into it, this is just a wonderful dashboard. It's full of KPIs. And again, the whole reason we're doing this is because typically digital signage and even omni-channel digital signage software company like us, you don't focus so much on the outcome, right? Everyone's just focused on getting a picture-in-picture display up, getting a video wall up, getting some just content on the screen. We're going and we're transcending beyond that right now, and we're going into how effective is that content. And is my investment in Korbyt paying off? So again, here you're going to see, it's a small number of employees. Got 140 employees, only 17% active last week. I can kind of see over these two channels, mobile and desktop. We do so much more than just mobile and desktop, by the way, but those are the two that really surface up to the top. I can see how I'm doing over the last week. I can look at which audiences have been engaged the most, right? So it looks like my sales demo audience is engaging the most, but my sales in-view audience is a little bit lower. And then I can just change this and I can switch in, I can drill into employees themselves, right? So the first glance view is I'm going to get an audience level. Second is the employees. I'm going to get some channel diversity. This is brought right over from that communicator score telling us where are my employees engaging? Again, mainly mobile, mainly desktop, a little bit email, a little bit Twitter, a little bit of SMS. And then over here in the right-hand pane, you're going to see which messages are actually providing the most likes and comments. So really easy at-a-glance view for you to tell, okay, what's engaging employees? And that tells you, hey, this is what I probably need to do more of because this is what my employees are interested in. And then a big thing that we do, you know, being analytics leaders, is we know you don't really care what your score is necessarily today. Well, you do care, but you need to know if it's trending up, is it trending down, where am I going, where am I headed, what are my goals? So we give you this nice, you know, 1 month to 2 month view so you can see how my engagement score is trending over time. And hopefully, you know, you will set goals and get that engagement score up. And then hopefully have corporate goals where you can say, hey, in Q1 or Q4 of 2020, I want my average engagement score for those 3 months to go up to 55%, 60%, something along those lines. All right, so with all that said, just wanted to talk about it, and we've done this before. I think it's so important, it's worth calling out again. Inside of Korbyt. And let's take a look at that E3 feed. So I've got a layout here that I've already created. It's a real simple layout, guys. It's just one element on the entire entire builder bar here as I'm loading it. This is, if you look here, this is our E3 element. And right now, this is what I'm going to show you. It's so easy to use, right? I just drag and drop this element, which you can find it right up here in the toolbar. It's kind of down at the very end here is E3 feed. I just drag and drop it on here. Key thing is I select which of the feed categories I would like. I've chosen nutrition, but you can choose any of these. And again, these topics are driven by our AI and what we're finding that's most important out there. Then a few key features about E3 that I think you guys will like is you don't have to automatically take what the machine has generated. You can go in here and you can go ahead and curate the feed even further. You can say, yeah, I really like this nutrition slide or this healthy snack slide. I don't want to show that, so you can turn that off. And then once you've curated the feed, we will never overwrite that. That setting will stay, we'll remember it. And then there's this third button option here, which is really just simply auto get content or don't auto get content. So I turn it on if I want all the latest updates every single day. But if I really want to curate that feed and make sure nothing gets out there that I don't approve of, I can just simply turn that off. We just covered solving problems for communicators. Let's now get into remote work enhancements, remote workforce enhancements. So this is really big. This has been a big topic for the entire year, especially with COVID. We've done so many enhancements. We already had remote workforce products before COVID hit, but we really just took them to the next level when COVID hit. So what you're seeing right now is a screenshot of our mobile app, Korbyt Go. And again, Korbyt Go is so much bigger than just mobile. It's a true omni-channel solution, but I think everybody gravitates to that mobile app feed part of it. And it's very much a social engagement tool for your employees. But what's wonderful about it is all of those layouts, all of that rich data that you're used to using in Korbyt, all those couriers, weather feeds, a real-time contact center dashboard, you got real-time sales dashboards, you got Power BI, Tibco, Tableau, any KPIs, those can come to life in the Korbyt Go world. We've got built-in surveys, built-in quizzes. You can get a baseline of where your employees are at. And this is available on the desktop as well. But this is a unique feature that really differentiates us out in the marketplace. Along with Korbyt Go Mobile is, if you see down at the bottom of your screen there, we've got the news feed, notifications, and then something called go-tos. And what go-tos allow you to do is really publish any kind of mini app that's a part of your company employee experience. And so what do I mean by that? If you look on the right-hand side of the screen, this is how you set it up in the CMS. So a real popular thing to do here with a go-to is to have what we call web form submissions or gather data from employees, right? So that two-way communication is so important. If you think about traditional digital signage, you're just spraying and praying information. You're just putting information out. It's one way. It's to a big screen. You're not getting any information back. With the go-to apps, I can not only do surveys, but I can do web forms that are tailor-made for you and your company. So examples here, people do employee recognition. A lot of our customers will do things like use it for their own database, so to speak, where they'll say, hey, I've got so many people on this side of the building, and they'll go ahead and submit that web form. It'll go to our fixed data adapter, and then that data adapter can actually show up in other places in Korbyt Go. You can use it for menuing systems. Hey, I want to add the following menus. I want to add the following items to the cafeteria today. So really kind of the art of the possible is enormous here with web forms. But other things you can do with Korbyt Go is you can absolutely attach a survey to it. You can show employee payroll information. You can show HR compliance forms. You can have employees sign HR compliance forms. You can put an entire series of posts related to an event at your company. Let's say you guys are doing benefit election. You could say that might not fit nicely into one post. That might be a series of them. You can do multiples of them together. Or you can actually just simply launch another mobile app from here. If you guys have a Paylocity app that your employees use, you can use this as a dashboard to launch and single sign on over that Paylocity app. So a lot more power than just the news feed there. And going along those lines, again, the remote workforce, how do we enable it? When you go to the post screen in Korbyt, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this omni-channel post, and we can go through it. I mean, it's very, very powerful. Nobody in the industry has anything like it. As we go through here, you'll see I can turn on these posts and this communication. Again, this can be benefit election. It can be, hey, everybody, we just opened a new building in Buenos Aires. It can be any kind of employee engagement message. It's not just going to your digital signage screens anymore. It's not just going to your mobile device. It's going to contact your employees through email. It's going to hit them up on SMS. Of course, the mobile app it'll work on, right? It's going to go to their desktop. A big crowd pleaser here is the intranet. That's this kind of pink looking icon that you guys see in the middle of the screen there. So it drives your employees back to the Adobe Experience Manager or SharePoint. If we've got your employees' Twitter handle, we can tweet out the message, tweet out the post. We can hit your employees on their Slack channel, on their Teams channel. And of course, we're never going to forget digital signage. So we hit your employees with messaging across all these channels, which, again, that's my background too, which is talking to consumers through marketing. You always want to get people across multiple channels because in today's modern world, everyone's got attention deficit disorder, and you've got to reinforce messages across those channels to really get them across to your employees. Another thing that we added, and this was on our last webinar too, but just to show you guys our investment in Korbyt Go, is we've had some clients that actually use Workplace by Facebook, which is a little, obviously Facebook has got the brand name recognition of the social feed, and then when you combine that with Korbyt, with all the data-driven dashboards and our real-time integrations with couriers and data feeds, you get the power of both worlds right there. So that's built right into the product right now. And then taking a break from Korbyt Go and kind of shifting gears over to a product we call Sonar. So I'll do that. Let me switch over here, get out of the PowerPoint mode of doing things. Let's go over, and Sonar you'll find under the advanced section. Let's just create a new Sonar. Sonar allows, it's an incredibly powerful offering. It's going to allow you to take any layout, again, data-driven, not data-driven, any playlist, any news feed going to Korbyt Go or to your desktop, any message, any quiz, any survey, and put that onto an actual third-party mobile device, app, or a third-party website. So I can choose a layout here that's data-driven, and I can kind of see, hey, this is what this is going to look like on a third-party website. This is going to look like on a third-party mobile site. We give you the resulting code. You just copy this code with this button right here, and you put it right, you give it to your integrators on that third-party site or on SharePoint. You just copy the link and put it into SharePoint. And here's an example of Sonar being used on an example website. So this is a website for Fall River Sports. It's an employee engagement site. It's for a sporting goods company. It's completely third party, right? Korbyt did not create this site. This was created by our customer, by their IT team, or it's something they're getting from SAP or Oracle. And we're highlighting 2 zones on here, aptly named Zone 1 and 2. And in Zone 1, we're actually driving this data-driven content on this page. We're matching the theme color, but we're actually pulling this data in through Korbyt, and we're serving up the content just in this zone only. Same thing in Zone 2. We're just providing them a way to log in and actually take a survey. So a lot of powerful features through Sonar. You can take content. You no longer have to worry about ever having a media player or even having a mobile app. This works with your third-party apps. This can work on your corporate website. This can work on your corporate mobile application, just right out of the box. And here's an example of this working on a third-party mobile app. So again, a 2-step process. The guys who created my mobile app for my company would just have to put a button on there, some kind of menuing system. That's under step 1. And under step 2, that's an entire Sonar zone. So that's data-driven content driven by Korbyt, designed in Korbyt by you guys, and now it's showing up on your actual mobile app. So a lot of great features there. And then finally, continuing this remote workforce theme, just wanted to talk about In-View. I know we've talked about In-View a lot on our previous webinars. What you're seeing on your screen right now is In-View on my desktop running. Again, the power of In-View is it starts off just taking digital signage content, and again, that's real-time data plus your beautiful artwork, and it's putting that down on your employee's desktop, right? So a lot of people are not necessarily back in the office with COVID. This is taking messaging and data-driven messaging and putting it on your employees as they work from home on their screen. And it also has 2 actual major advantages over digital signage. The first one is I now know that I'm not talking to the break room screen anymore. I'm not talking to the northwest corner video wall. I'm now talking to George, or I'm now talking to Stacy. So I can personalize this content to the employee. And then the other big advantage this has over digital signage is it's natively interactive. I can absolutely click on all of these buttons here and drill in and get more information. Whereas, again, if I'm walking by a video wall, I'm not going to go up to the video wall and start touching the screen and hoping it responds to it. So, guys, that covers our remote workforce enhancement. I know some of that was a reminder, but again, we have been investing more than any other company in our space, in our software, and in our product, and a lot of great enhancements in Korbyt for remote workforce. Want to spend just a little more time now talking a little bit about the powerful content creation platform, our continued investment in making this a content creation platform. And earlier we talked about a communication platform, measuring the effect of your communication. Now we're going to talk about just how easy it is to create that content, how powerful it is. And then we'll just get into the roadmap, and then we will get into questions. So won't spend a ton of time on this. I want to just point out a couple key features. What you're seeing on your screen right here is a builder screen where I've taken a screenshot of Sonar, put it on the builder screen, and I'm showing the drawing pane here. I don't know if a lot of you guys have even paid attention to the toolbar inside of Builder, but you have a basic, you have an advanced, you now have a drawing pane. And I'll actually go demo that to you guys live right now. So let me get out of PowerPoint. Let's go back into the platform. Choose the right folder. And yeah, I've got a real simple layout here that we can kind of use just as a scratch pad, right? So I got my builder bar over here. Again, this is floatable, flexible, anchorable. I can do whatever I want to with it. The drawing tab is right over here. Each one of these items here is really basically an accordion control, so I can see my basic styles here. If I wanted to point an arrow out, I could easily just click on an arrow, and then I can drag and drop that arrow, move it over onto the canvas. This is really for really fast edits, really fast call outs. For instance, I could do a speech bubble, right? If you can imagine an image here of somebody, you can have a speech bubble to what they're saying. It's a lot of fun. It provides you just some really quick, easy to use tools to make your layouts, make your messages that much more engaging. If you've already got a great message, but you really want to draw some attention to a certain area, it's absolutely fabulous for that. There's so much to go through that we've added this year inside of Builder and inside of our ability here to make it just a wonderful content creation tool. And again, our goal is to be the Photoshop of the industry, right? We want to really make sure that the graphic artist, the person who's really wants pixel perfect layouts, can use Korbyt to make those pixel perfect layouts. So as you go through here, you look at all the tools. We got, text element, image element, video element, right? That's your bread and butter of digital signage, of messaging. It's usually a combination of images and videos. But then as you scroll down, you'll find out all the enhancements we've added this year, right? We've got, of course, YouTube, but as we go down, you'll see WebEx, the Zoom element. We've got Teams. We've got built-in Microsoft Power BI. We've got that employee engagement feed we were talking about before. And again, a big differentiator for us is, unlike our competition, you're not forced to a specific zone. Like, hey, I can only put an image down in the bottom left of my screen. No, you can take it, you can put as many images as you want on our platform. You can overlap them. You can set the alpha opacity. You can change the properties. You can anchor elements to other elements. There's so much power you can do here. One last thing I just wanted to point out, because I know I don't have a lot of time, is there's a help section inside of Korbyt. And in this help section are just a ton of videos for you to watch. And we try to keep these updated. But if you just want to know how does a data-driven playlist work? How do I add an external layout to my elements here? How do I use a new element? How do I use the document element? How do I use the QR code? These are all little micro videos, micro meaning no videos, I think, over 5 or 6 minutes long. And it's a quick way for you to figure out how to use it. And of course, always, send us emails, ask us questions, ask the community questions, call our support line. We're definitely here to help you because we want you guys to really use the power of Builder. Another quick thing to note here, this is another screenshot I took of a layout in preview mode. We've got Zoom integration. So this is showing a Zoom meeting that you could possibly show in an in-view window or in a conference room. But what's powerful about this is, again, is the combination of all these elements together. I don't just show a Zoom element full screen. I can combine a Zoom element with my KPI dashboard so I can participate in the Zoom meeting, plus take a look at my service level, plus take a look at emergency alerts, plus have on-target information. I can have traffic information, weather information. I can combine all this together into this wonderful, very data-rich dashboard, and nobody else has anything like it. Another thing we talked about a little bit in our last webinar, I just wanted to point out to you guys, because again, we're so proud of the content creation tool. Take a look at Branding Manager. Branding Manager allows you to set up your colors, your fonts, your themes, your images, so that you can set a style guide for your other content authors to follow. It'll just make sure that all of your layouts and messages follow a very specific theme and format, no matter what your content authors do. And again, I think we're unique in offering this as well. All right, guys, I'm almost done here. We'll get to Q&A. The last thing I just wanted to talk about, spend a little bit of time on our future product direction. Obviously, we won Product of the Year award the last 2 years. We want to keep winning it. We want to keep investing in the product. We want you guys to be excited about Korbyt, that you guys bought the platform, and we want you guys to use it to its fullest. A big thing that we're adding for our next release is something called office hoteling. Now, office hoteling was around way before COVID epidemic, where you have some companies that would say, hey, we really have a hoteling-like feature on our 3rd floor. People just come in, they choose which office they want to work in each day, and then they check out. Well, this has obviously been magnified with COVID. So we've added to our wayfinding element, that map element in Builder that I just showed you, right inside of Builder. we've added the ability now with the click of one button to turn that into office hoteling. And when you turn it into office hoteling, what it's going to allow you to do is to establish regions on a given floor. Again, these regions can be as small as a cubicle, right? Or these regions can be a conference room, or these regions can be a huge area like the southwest corner of the building. Upload your map to the system, set up your regions, publish your layout. Once you publish your layout, your employee experience is actually going to be that they get off the elevators, they get off on the 10th floor. They're going to see this digital signage screen out there. They're going to be able to see that QR code. They're going to scan that QR code with their mobile phone, right? Because in the COVID world, we don't want anyone touching any kind of kiosks or anything like that and spreading germs. So they're going to scan that QR code. Then they're going to get a mobile experience similar to this, right? They're going to get a nice responsive map view. They're going to see how many people have checked in already into this floor. They're going to get an overlay of who's in the building, who's not in the building, and they're going to have the ability to check in here at this level as well. Another big thing that we're going to do for this release is it's going to be notifying managers and executives who's checking in, making sure that you're adhering to social distancing guidelines, so you don't have too many people and too many regions. So this is all going to go out automatically. You're going to be able to set up these notifications. You're going to also be able to run these reports yourself. And then just one quick thing to point out here is we're really big in being part of a connected community, right? So we've got our web services catalog for signage and for remote workforce, In-View, Korbyt Go. We've added office hoteling web services too, because we've talked to some customers. I mean, we don't think it's huge yet, but some customers want to actually use a temperature sensing kiosk, or they want us to integrate directly with their ADT already badge entry system. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the office hoteling and get the maps and get these automatic notifications and reports, it's simply a matter of getting these temperature sensing tablets or these ADT systems to call our web service with the appropriate data, and you're automatically going to be checked in and taking advantage of both systems at the same time. All right, this is my last slide, guys, I promise, and then we're going to get right into Q&A. So what's coming in our next release in 2.5? Obviously, machine learning AI is really huge, right? So you're seeing a screenshot here in the bottom right-hand side of your screen of our generic machine learning AI predictor. So right now we're using AI to help you do your job, to help you communicate. So our AI is very focused on finding relevant content, scheduling that relevant content so you can kind of take a hands-off approach. But with 2.5, we're coming out with kind of a generic predictor model, right? And you guys can even choose the algorithms you'd like to run. Do I want to run clustering? Do I want to run a binomial? Do I want to run a linear regression, right? So obviously this is a little more advanced than some other features of Korbyt, but it allows you to take a data set and start using some of the AI capabilities that we built in other parts of the application for your own data sets. Office hoteling, of course, that's coming up. That's big. Conference room hoteling. We've already got conference room hoteling, but we're adding more and more features to it, especially with the QR code, right? We want things to be touchless. We don't want people going around touching screens. We're adding data events to custom adapters. This is building off of our rich heritage and data, real-time data integration. We're going to have the ability to do so much more with that real-time data. Another topic for another webinar, but we've got extreme integration to if this and that, so that you can do amazing things with the platform. You could actually use your Korbyt Go mobile device. You could go into a conference room and you could turn the lights off. You can make the screen come down. You can put yourself into presenter mode. You can start a Zoom meeting. So all that conference room automation can be done simply with a combination of Korbyt and if this and that. But there's so many other examples that you can do. You can use if this and that as an instant courier. Anytime you publish a document to your OneDrive folder, it could instantly be pulled over and made available inside of your media library, inside of Korbyt. So there's a lot of great business cases for it. And then we're adding a SharePoint and Adobe Experience Manager calendaring. And again, that's fitting right back into that conference room. So guys, I know I was going really fast there to get through all that information. So let's open it up now to Q&A.
All right, George, thank you so much. That was amazing. So we do have several questions that came in here. So I'm going to dive right in. The first one came from several people. Will this be archived? Will we distribute the slides? Yes, you will get a link as an attendee, or if you missed it as well or had to drop early, you'll get a link to the archive of the webinar. So now let's get to the meat of the questions here. Okay, I'm going to dive right in, George. So number one, we just got, we'll try to keep it short and go fast here. So curious how you get engagement analytics out of digital signage. I think you touched on this as the question came in. You continued to explain the omni-channel use of surveys, use of interactivity, but can you sort of give your 30-second to 1 minute answer on how you get engagement analytics out of digital signage?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go right back into the software again. I mean, we're so proud of the application. We just demo the live software all the time. But we've got two major ways, right? The first one is if I'm just going out to a digital signage screen and I'm not using an In-View or Korbyt Go, so I'm not targeting an employee, is we pair up a screen to a camera, right? We use audience analytics that are out there. So that tells us right away, okay, is a person or persons interested in this screen? Are they interested in the next video? Are they interested in other content? And then we use data mining, cluster analysis to be specific, to find out what other second order, third order, fourth order content would be similar to that. And then we go ahead and schedule that content. So that's the first way. It's through that audience analytics feedback. The other way we find it is just through our relevant refresh technology. And relevant refresh allows you to take playlists that you're already assigning out there to your current screens and saying, hey, I want to turn this playlist on for your data mining algorithm. So this doesn't require at all any kind of camera. It's a little less accurate because you don't know for sure whether someone's in front of the screen, but it can absolutely take what content you've already assigned. And again, the resulting playlist out of this is going to be data mined, looking for patterns, looking for content that's very similar to what you also showed, so that you get that hands-free approach and you're able to get content that's relevant and for your current employees. And then, of course, once you go to Korbyt Go and In-View, then we know your employees are engaged because they're clicking on it, right? They're clicking like, or they're clicking comment, or they're opening it up in full screen mode. That's when the power of AI really comes and shines.
Great, thank you, George. Okay, so I'm gonna move on here. A couple of questions around content creation and publishing. Okay, number one, can the fonts and colors be customized? And then as you answer that, maybe segue into showing how to put transitions between screens and layouts. So
Yeah,
fonts and colors customized, could be branding manager, could be within the layout itself, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. If you've got custom fonts too, at onboarding time, we go ahead and load those into your tenant as well. So just reach out to us if you want custom fonts. The reason why we do that is because we're very concerned about players caching content and about not downloading the entire world font library to your player, just the fonts that you need. So we ship with a lot of open source fonts. So when you're in layout and you use that editor tool, let's just go in there real quick. I'll pick on the layout I set up here. Just move this out of the way a little bit, give us some room, add our text field here. Hello. Save this, move this around a little bit. I just go right in here for my text. I choose my font family. We've got a ton of font families built in. If you don't see the font that you want to use, no problem at all, right? Just contact us and we'll get that font loaded into your tenant for you.
That's great. And transitions, can you talk about transitions and how to apply those?
Yeah, absolutely. So, by the way, I didn't have a chance to talk about this, but we've got transitions on the layout itself, right? Because everyone loves the power of transitions and animations. We got this little button called Magic Animation button, which will actually do a lot of effects for all of the elements that you have on your current screen. We've also got an animation toolbar that you can easily come down here and add, a bouncing animation, move that bouncing animation around, increase it. So just within the layout itself, we've got animations and visibility galore. But when you get to a playlist, there's actually a little button there on the playlist itself that tells you which transition to use. So if I go to a playlist, I'll pick on one of my current playlist items here. Or actually, we'll just go ahead and start with a new playlist. Add some content. Add 2 images right here. You'll see this nice little transition type wizard shows up right here. And right in here, you can choose your transition that you would like to use. Right, it's a huge, huge library. I want it to fade in. I want it to crossfade. Crossfade's a real popular one. You can have transitions between these different available slots, or you can choose no transition at all. And again, on the layout itself, you can absolutely have your own transitions as well.
That's great. Okay, thanks, George, for that. How about, so there's a question here on subsection or frames of the, can subsections, frames of LCDs be independently scheduled? I think what they're talking about is maybe zones within the layout. I mean, the short answer there is yes. So you can have a playlist.
Yes.
Playlist within an area of a layout, right? So I don't know if you want to show that.
But we've got, we might run out of time. Got a little bit of advance. So real quick answer. On a layout itself, you can have a playlist element that you can put there. That's not going to exactly let you schedule the exact perfect time. If you want to set the exact time, then you would need to go to a more advanced concept called boards. So you would choose a board, and within a board and a board zone, you're able to go ahead and schedule this. Let me open up a template here so you guys can see this Dallas template. So here I've got 3 zones for Dallas. On these 3 zones, I can actually have 3 different playlists running. And when I create a board out of this playlist, I can choose exact times of days and days of the week that I want that playlist to run.
Got it. And maybe that's a good segue into this other question on, can different work groups be set up or administrator roles be assigned?
Yeah, absolutely. So you go in, choose manage users. You can manage a user group, so you can create a new user group through the manage user groups, or you can add a user here and choose some of our built-in user groups that we already have. So the built-in role types are set right here. But again, if I've got, let's say, a West Coast operations and I want to create my own West Coast role, I can do that. But that West Coast role could all be set as content authors only, for instance. So a lot of power there. Again, feel free to call us, reach out on community, and we can schedule some time and just show you exactly how to do this for your specific use case.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about, there's a couple questions on Korbyt Go and In-View and the difference. Do we need Korbyt Go to push content to mobile devices?
Absolutely. Korbyt Go is that's your true omni-channel communication mechanism. Mobile is just one of the channels. I mean, arguably it's the most important channel, right? But we do have some clients who are like, hey, I've got some frontline workers and I don't want them checking their mobile phone all the time, right? And even in that case, Korbyt Go is great because we're not only reaching out mobile, but we're reaching out through email, through their desktop, through the internet, through Twitter. But again, the building blocks that go into a Korbyt Go message, right? They're the same things that you've been using all this time. So I go in here, I can choose an article or I can choose a message. That message can be a data-driven layout of which I just showed you guys. Great question. Thanks.
No problem. I'm going to try to squeeze a couple more here, and then we'll finish up and give people back a few minutes here of the hour. We got a couple of follow-up questions on the AI. I think some of these may be futures related. Can the AI integrate with various document repositories and provide insights into usage of those files? If possible, what considerations are needed for accurate data? It gets into tagging and usage of.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, and I think more and more companies are using AI for everything from, chat robots to figuring out the surface of the sun. So we're using AI all around content and content relevancy, and are people engaging with the content? Are they not engaging? If this is a third-party repository, let's say it's a SharePoint library or an Adobe Experience library, we can absolutely, through a courier or through data integration, we can pull that content into Korbyt. We can tag that content as well. And then once it's in Korbyt, we can learn and figure out, okay, which content from SharePoint or which content from Adobe Experience Manager or which content from my OneDrive actually is meaningful and useful. But we won't actually be scanning and running the AI algorithms on your OneDrive or on your SharePoint. Once it's moved into Korbyt, then we'll be running the AI on the content inside of Korbyt. Hopefully that clarifies it a little bit.
I think it does. Yeah, thanks, George. So last question here, and this is back from obviously a content creator perspective. If I want to build templates, what's the best way to build them for digital signage? And this goes back to Layout Builder, but maybe you could show when I hear the word template, I think it's about something that's going to be reused frequently. Maybe you show the ability to add a template variable and create there you go, a Launchpad template.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's not only, we're trying to serve two purposes here, and they're a little bit of odds with each other. One purpose is we want the most powerful content creation tool in the world, and that means spending a lot of time in Builder and getting everything pixel perfect and using all the elements that you guys see in Builder. The other purpose we're trying to serve is, how do I get the recency and frequency of the content faster, right? People get tired and bored of the same content, so I need fresh new content out there all the time. I can't do both at the same time. I can't spend an entire day building a layout and get 20 new layouts done every day. It's tough, right? So that's why we've got all these tools built in. You have your graphic artists, your great content authors working in Builder, but then have your distribution people working on putting this into something like Launchpad, where you've already got a great template, and we've got a ton of these in the marketplace and in community for you already. And then their experience to get out new information is really just clicking in Launchpad, opening it up, and changing out a message, right? I can just change, like in this one, I can only just change out the company logo. So that's not the best example, but each one of these is a little bit different, right? Each one of these launch pads is set up, and they're set up by you. That's the powerful thing. They're set up, you decide which regions that your authors can modify and which ones they can't. You can also set up whether they can modify the text or the colors, or hey, I'm not going to. So if I come in here and I'm not going to spend all of my time in Builder, but I just want to get out a quick message like a congratulations, I can congratulate Ben right here. I type in 2 words, I hit continue, this is published, and I've got new information on the screens right away. So we're really trying to accomplish both things at the same time, getting out content really fast, and then also making it super powerful so that anything that I can dream up, I can make a reality. And then glad to spend time with you guys on, and we've done this webinar before, but it's probably been about 9 months where we kind of went through some best practices of Builder, but it sounds like that'd be a popular webinar to bring back in and just show you guys, how do I lay out a video, how do I lay out an image inside of Layout Builder once I'm inside there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of great content, a lot to cover in 45 minutes. All right, so just looking at the clock here, I want to be mindful of people's time. I think it's time to move towards wrap up. And, George, if you want to just go back to that Q&A slide. So thank you so much to George. Thank you, Ankur, for your time. Thank you to everyone that's on the call today. We really appreciate you joining us. Hope you found this valuable. We'll follow up with all of you that asked questions. There were a few we did not have a chance to get to. We'll post an archive as well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay productive, and we'll look forward to speaking with all of you soon.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, thanks for attending, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Good.